Greetings, fellow Americans. Welcome to Fireside Chats, State of Our Nation. I am your host, Susanna Tanner, candidate for President 2028 and House of Representatives 2026. We have, the last few weeks, I have submitted to the public through my podcast multiple sections of an essay that I am writing on the Constitution. The essay in text is multiple pages, and you'll be able to view that on my website after I finish next week's segment of it. This week is the fourth part of that essay. It is called The Power to Protect and Change, Using the Constitution Today. The genius of the Constitution is that it can always be changed. I'm requoting the character Simon Wilder from the movie With Honors. This is a very important quote because we, the people, have the ability to change our Constitution. The genius of the Constitution is that it makes no permanent rule other than its faith in the wisdom of ordinary people to govern themselves. We, the people, are the power of the Constitution, and we have the ability to change it so that it secures our peace and prosperity for our nation and ourselves as individuals. The power is in the collective agreement, is in our collective agreement of freedom and the government structure that is established by our Constitution. The supreme law of the land is the Constitution, and we even have procedures for changing it. Change comes from recognizing when history could and or may be repeating itself. The Constitution has been updated a few times to reflect necessary changes that benefit the people of the United States. Many events, issues, and other things have contributed to the necessity for these updates, for these changes. Something to think about is about the current leadership situation in Congress. The majority of the seats are held by political parties. We can recognize in today's nation a comparison of political parties to factions spoken about in the Federalist Papers number 10. This essay is a kind of warning about what has previously happened with factions. Comparable to today are the Democratic and Republican parties, and that dominate the representation in Congress. Both parties have a basic set of ideals that most of the party members agree on, but neither truly represents the opinions of the people. Instead, the parties battle with each other over legislation that could logically benefit our nation, while the party with the majority representation chooses to enforce legislation and government shutdowns that even their constituents are appalled at and are speaking out about. We've had some pretty recent protests, and the last one, the No Kings protest, was pretty large. I'd say that's definitely speaking out. The Federalist Papers number 51 highlights how checks and balances of the three branches should work according to the Constitution. What is happening in our government today is a serious lack of those checks and balances between the three branches. We have seen the executive branch subvert or outright ignore the Constitution. And we have watched the United States Congress and the United States Supreme Court allow it. Our Constitution and laws grant each of the branches of government a way within their jurisdiction to check each other and maintain the balance of a functioning government, especially our democratic republic. At the time, the majority members of the 119th Congress, and the majority of the Supreme Court refused to implement these checks and balances in an effort to support the unconstitutional and personal vendetta of the executive branch. The evidence to support this is in the executive orders of the lead branch, the orders of the executive branch, the refusal of the majority of the 119th Congress to pass legislation to support the people of the United States, including but not limited to impeachment of multiple individuals and the invocation of the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, and the refusal of the Supreme Court to deny the executive branch unconstitutional powers. An example scenario: if the United States Congress impeached and invoked the 25th Amendment, the Supreme Court of the United States issued criminal charges, they would honor their oath to protect the people, to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. Both branches currently choose to allow unconstitutional authority to a branch of government that is not meant to have unlimited, unchecked power. Not to say that this applies to all members. It is the majority that is causing the corruption. It is now up to the people to check and balance our government. We have many ways we can utilize our Constitution to accomplish what is necessary to ensure our nation's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Some methods, like protesting and free speech, we already use. Other actions that we can utilize is vote of no confidence. We can, through a vote of no confidence, remove members of Congress. We can do it with an individual's district, through their constituents. And it obviously can also be done through Congress, but it's highly unlikely that Congress is going to utilize a vote of no confidence to remove those members who are holding our nation hostage and have shown that they are corrupt and that they are not going to abide by their oath of office. Speaker Mike Johnson can be removed from his position by his constituents. That's an example. They would submit an appropriate amount of signatures to the local Congress and take it to the Supreme Court and federal Congress for the vote of no confidence, listing the violations that are most egregious and harmful to the general public, including any direct violations of the Constitution. In regards to the district especially, of course, petitions are also something else that we can utilize, and we do utilize those on a regular basis. It's definitely encouraged to utilize petitions to get voices heard, to, find people that agree with situations. We can submit petitions for the general public and include our representatives. Many petition sites will allow you to include the representative of your district, or even your senators, governors, other representatives like that. A petition, an example would be a petition for support from the general population to initiate a lawsuit against all three branches of government for their violations of the Constitution and their oaths of office, including support from members of Congress. So members of Congress who might not be in the individual's district could also add their support to such a petition. Lawsuits are something that we also do, but not enough people join in lawsuits. Not enough people file these lawsuits. And joint lawsuits are definitely encouraged so that, the more people that are tied to a specific lawsuit, the more evidence there's going to be of a crime being committed or an egregious violation of the Constitution. We can, as individuals, states, and as a nation, initiate legal action in our courts. An example would be, wouldn't it be something, to see the majority of the states of our union sue the federal government for their violations of the Constitution as it relates to each individual state? This would include specific actions and orders that have caused physical and emotional harm to the general public with the intent to violate, usurp, and even subvert the Constitution. And there's plenty of evidence of this already, and it's all over the internet. Campaigning for office is another one. This is another important one because the more people that we have in Congress that are for the people, we are going to have a better chance of succeeding in leading our nation to peace and prosperity. More individuals can campaign for elected office so that we have the best representation for our local and national communities. An example is myself. I'm campaigning for office because I see what is happening in our nation and all over the world. In fact, I know I can contribute in a positive way, and I am showing you, the public, with every bit of information I put out there, that this is what we can do to improve our situations. More individuals campaigning for office would increase the likelihood that we would observe a candidate who is of the people, by the people, and for the people. All of these actions are purposeful and nonviolent, which is how our Constitution is designed. Abraham Lincoln said, the people are the rightful masters of both Congresses and courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert it. The Constitution gives us the tools we need to protect our people from those who pervert it. We, the people, speak. We are the power of the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. That is all I have for today. Thank you for your time, and may our path lead to peace and prosperity.